Hello everyone and welcome back to Assetto Corsa. And for today's video I had a little bit of a different idea for what I should do. So as you may or may not know, the 787B was created, it raced in 1991. We're around Le Mans and it pretty much got famous for that. But I had a thought to myself, what if we took the 787B and sent it back to 1966. What if we took the 787B, had it race at Monza in 1966, and we could see how this car would perform? And so here we are at Monza 1966 in the 787B. We have about 3 laps around here with other AI driving the same car just to see what it would be like to drive this era of car in the past. Now the first thing I would like to say about this car is it is extremely loud, and I've had to turn this audio down quite a bit just to even hear myself. Also, it is a bit of an understeerer here and there, but again, this car was made during a different area where tracks were different, so I can't really blame it for that. But another thing is, it is amazing on the brakes, except when people hit you like that. And it sometimes has these mid-corner spins or so, but that could just be cold tire pressure here and there. And now I'd like to talk about the track itself, Monza, the 1966 version. And if you thought the up-to-date version was hard, wait till you have played the 1966 version. It is so independent on slipstream. Even the Lesmos you can almost take flat out with only a little bit of braking. And I would also like to mention this is the full version of the 1966 Monza, meaning we do get the big, huge turns that set you at about 90 degrees sideways, and they do last a pretty long time. But what's amazing is before you go to those turns, you have so much room to build up speed on each of these 2 stretches here. As you can see, we're now in 5th gear going as fast as we possibly can. And another big factor is, of course, slipstream. And as we go into these big turns, what you want to do here is try to stay somewhat in the middle or on the lower side, because that is where it is most stable. I wouldn't recommend trying to go as low as possible since it does become unstable very fast. But if you can, get into the slipstream of someone not like that, as I've completely bumped him. But lap times around here, I'm guessing, would be around 2 minutes and 30 seconds if you're in the slipstream, which I am, so hopefully it doesn't take that long. But it's also very dangerous to make contact here when you're in these big banky turns here, because you can easily give just the slightest of wrong taps and end up spinning your car. But at the same time, the slipstream is just so strong here, and especially with the 787B, that you kind of just have to send it around every turn you can, and try not to go side by side into many of these corners. And there's also curbs of death, as you see on the inside of that turn, where if you hit them while going, say 180 as we are doing, you will definitely die and just be sent to the shadow realm. But the nice thing about this track is there's plenty of runoff areas in other parts of the track here. But this is where I guess Lesmos would be in modern day. And I think that's pretty good for taking them. The AI, of course, can take them perfectly just because that's just how they do it. Now, I was going to do a video on modern day F1 cars going around this track, but I figured that wouldn't be as fun as having the legendary 787B going around here, as the 2 cars in front of us seem to go a little bit off track, allowing us to gain a lot of time down this back stretch. And we're getting one sent up the inside. We're going to get on the brakes early just so we don't slide into the sand. And even though this car has amazing brakes, we are still on 90 slicks, meaning they are not that advanced as modern day slicks at all. And they do have a habit of spinning a lot when they are cold, as do all slicks. And you do get a little bit of understeer from them, so that is also a thing. And we seem to be struggling a lot to get into slipstream of other cars coming on to this little roundabout here. Well, it's a huge roundabout if you think about it. But of course, you can't exactly send moves anywhere on this track. I really wouldn't recommend sending them around that corner. because you can easily lose traction, and you could see how much the car bumps just from being on that surface. But they have kindly settled behind us, and it seems someone in front of us has slowly died. So we're going to get in a little bit of slipstream here and hopefully not lose it all the way to the group in front, as the car is just completely rattling and barely staying on the ground here. Now of course you could try your best, raise the ride height, tune the car, but I've used the default setup here and just thrown on the soft 90 slicks. And that seems to have worked, as the 787B in front of us is so wide it's taking up a good portion of the track, so much that we can't even make a move on the inside or the outside. And unfortunately that does mean we lose a little bit of time to the cars in front of the one in front of him. So we're just going to try our best and not die in the Lesmos. I decided to back out of that since there was just not going to be any room here. And I did not want to hit the inside curb at all, since that could completely end your race. Now as you see, I get a little bit of understeer, as the tires really don't heat up here on this track, as you basically only have straights with about 4 corners at most, and you might get them heated up on the 2 bigger corners, but that's just about it. You're just going to have to settle for cold tires during most of this race. But that should be fine, since it's mostly just straight line speed and drafting, so you won't have to worry too much about braking, as though I do like to do it a little bit early, knowing that I am on cold tires. And the car in front of us seems to be pulling away just a tiny bit, and that just goes to show how much the slipstream at this track is important, as we have about one more big turn and hopefully we might get top 10 here. But it all depends how fast you are willing to enter this part of the track, and hope that your car just sticks to the ground and doesn't just bounce and go flying into the barrier, as that would be a launch to actual space. But it seems the car behind us doesn't have that much slipstream at all, so we should be good to maybe finish P11. But if they do make a mistake, as they did last lap coming into this final corner, we may be able to grab P10 here, as I think they have let off the gas just a little bit entering this final corner, as I can now fully see the car in detail in front of me. And now it's just a rush to see how fast we can get to them. But unfortunately I think that is a P11. And so my thoughts on this car and track combo is that it seems to go pretty good. The only thing I wish I had were up-to-date slicks, so I could just take the corners faster and not be on the edge at all times. But other than that, this track and car combo is amazing, and I think the 787B would have fit perfectly here at Monza during this time, since it has all the power and speed it needs, especially with that quad rotor. And so I pretty much think it would be unstoppable, even to F1 cars at this time. Anyways, tell me your thoughts and comments down below. And thank you for watching. If you like videos like this, feel free to check out other videos I have on the channel. And goodbye.